Hey, sports fans, welcome on in. It's the Down and Dirty. Scott Mitchell here. So glad you could be a part of our day. So glad you could join what we do. We love it. We're so I'm over the moon about being able to do this every day. And I appreciate that you tune in. Of course, like and subscribe and do all that fun stuff. And we'll be friends for life. Either way, we'll be friends for life. But no, we'll really be like friends for life if you do that. So please join us. Got a great show today. We, as always, our Thursday edition with the Zone Coach, the man who actually knows Babe Ruth and met him personally. They used to hang out together long time ago. He's been coaching people in getting into the zone for over 50 years. Some of the biggest names in the sports world, and it's fascinating what he teaches people to kind of find the very best version of themselves. So Jim Fannin is going to join us today, along with we've got some crazy things going on. Trades that happened, didn't happen, free agency, all good baseball players not getting along, Italy winning a baseball game that helps the U.S. get into the next round of the World Baseball Classic. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of fun stuff. And we're going to have some good discussions about a lot of things today, I promise you. But joining us right now on the program is none other than Jim Fannin. Of course, he is the Zone Coach. If you're very interested in learning how to tap into the very best version of yourself, go check out zonecoach.com, and they will do it for you. They will help you like you would not believe. And I will just tell you that Jim is the first person that I ever ran into who was able to describe to me what I experienced as a professional athlete. Like, I was blown away, and I'm blown away by his insights and his process. It's amazing. Anyways, welcome to the show, Jim. How are you on this beautiful Thursday? From, I believe you're in Chicago right now.
I'm in beautiful Chicago.
Nice.
There is a disclaimer, though. I did not meet Babe Ruth. I just want to.
You knew someone who knew Babe Ruth. That was what it was.
I had a third-year-old. I was doing a little talk to a third-year-old class, and at the end of the class, the kid tugged on my coat, and he goes, "Did you know Babe Ruth?" And I'm like, "What?" I wanted to smack him one. I did not, nor did I go to school with Lincoln. So let's rule all those things out.
All right, now that we got that covered, we're set for the day. And those kids, they say the darndest things, and hopefully you'll say the darndest things today. So Max Crosby, of course, very famously, I think this is, it's not unprecedented because there have been other trades that have been nixed because of a failed physical, but so he fails his physical. He's supposed to be with the Ravens. He's now back with the Las Vegas Raiders. Where is his mind right now? Because he was not happy with the way they shut him down at the end of last year. Wanted to kind of get out of Dodge, and he got out of Dodge, and it's like George Bailey. He could just never get out of town, and he's just stuck around forever. So what do you think his mindset is, and what do you think it should be?
I think he was blown away in a negative way. I mean, first of all, he went to Baltimore with his wife. You're not going to take your wife with you unless it's going to say, "Hey, here we are. We're locked in. Here's my family." And so he brought his wife. So to me, it's really pretty simple. They were negotiating with Hendrickson, I believe, at the same time. And they looked at it. They looked at his knee. I don't know how you do a physical on a guy that just has recovered off of crutches a week. So what kind of physical is that? They're obviously looking at, is this bone on bone? But I think it really came down to, I'd like to keep my 2 first-round picks. I'll go with Trey, who's younger, and hopefully could be as good. I mean, Max is next level. I mean, he is a game wrecker. Hendrickson's not chopped liver, but it costs less. I think it came down to money. I don't think it came down to injury. I don't.
Yeah, it feels a little, I don't want to say nefarious, but it seems so weird because your point where you're there with your wife, and all this is just a formality. It's the ceremonial, kind of meeting and dinner and okay, fine. We'll do a little physical here while we're here, take some blood, bend the ligaments and all that stuff. And you know, because you're right, Max Crosby. I mean, he's one of the elites in the league, and something, but you know, whatever, just spooked him off. But how do you feel now? Because you mentioned Trey Hendrickson, who is very good and actually has been more productive in the last 3 years than Max Crosby as far as sacks go. But he's the second choice. You know, I always, you know, I always wonder what players feel like. It's like, yeah, you wanted him, but you know, and then he didn't. And so now you want me. You know, where is Trey Hendrickson's brain at this point?
With his banker. He's now figuring out how to save money on taxes and what he's going to do. Yeah, listen, money cures all things that have gone wrong.
Do you think it even cures your ego? You know, it's like because like you know professional athletes, and they all got an ego, and they all want to be the number one dude, and they, you know, you don't think that hurt him at all?
I don't think he was happy about it. I think he wanted to go out there, but he's not a dummy. He knows Max's legacy and everything. You know, in fact, Max was going to set the bar for, you know, that edge rusher on terms of price, and everybody was waiting for that. Even Trey was waiting to see what that was. I think he's going to be amazing. I think he's got something to prove, that I am the man, and you didn't need Max even with him healthy. And so I think it's a great fit. It costs him less money. Trey's making a lot of money. And I think he will rise to the occasion. I do think it pissed him off a little bit.
Yeah, you know, as we're talking about this, and I touched on it briefly yesterday, just how, you know, I'm not sure how I'd feel if I was the second pick, you know, but it does. So the Ravens are going to get a really good player, highly motivated, and a guy who like just got paid, because you're right, money does cure a lot of ills in life, and that kind of money cures a lot of things. Speaking of money, how would you spend $100 million? Like when you made your first $100 million, what did you spend it on?
Wow, that's a great question. You know, the first thing that I would do if I received one of those contracts would just protect myself long term. I'd want to have something conservative long term, and then I would extract maybe 5%, 10% to do whatever I wanted to do. 2 houses, 3 houses, I don't know, whatever.
Would it be houses? Would you buy a car? Would you buy an air? What would you?
I definitely wouldn't buy cars. I have cars, and I could care less about cars. I have great cars, but I'd rather Uber. No, I'd probably buy real estate in a couple of places that I like, and I may buy a retreat out by you, and that would probably be at the top of my list, actually, to buy a retreat in Sedona, southern Utah, some property, and do a retreat. And instead of me traveling around the world, get everybody to come to me, and they could go to Monument Valley or go wherever they need to go, and Bryce Canyon, all that. So, yeah, that would be something I would like to do.
Yeah, I could spend $100 million. I could.
Well, you know, once Uncle Sam takes his cut, I've got a little bit less, but it's a bunch of money, though.
I'm going after tax, though. You have $100 million after. This is after taxes, so you have $100 million in your bank account.
The first thing I would do is I do 6,000 cell minutes a month, which is insane. I don't want to know how many days that is. 24/7. Last night I was on the phone at 2:30 a.m. because I got NBA on the West Coast, Major League Baseball, spring training, Arizona, all that. First thing I would do is nothing for 30 days. I'd go silent and hide. That's what I would personally do, is just nothing, because my life is always 100 miles an hour. I would unplug and probably realize, holy crap, I'm really tired. I need a nap. But that would be first, secure my nest egg for my family for the future, and then do whatever I wanted to do. But it probably wouldn't be cars and watches, all that. I don't care about that.
You know, I used to be in watches, but I don't even wear a watch anymore. I've tried actually to wear one, and I don't know. I have my phone, and it's my new watch. And maybe you don't want to look at your phone, but who knows?
I would like to not look at my phone for 30 days. I don't know. I might have a nervous tick or something if I didn't have my phone. My head would shake. I'm on it so much.
Yeah. Like, what if your phone died? Like,
I'm out of business.
Yeah, it's crazy how we're so
I have
wrapped into
no,
our
but
phones.
I don't even need an office. I mean, and the interesting thing about my clients, they don't ask me where I am. They don't ask me about anything about me. It's all about them. Their success is my only mission. And so anyway, it would be fun exercise to have.
World Baseball Classics going on. I always love to talk baseball with Jim Fannin, and kind of a weird thing happened with the Team USA. Of course, that's what we're most interested in. There was some speculation that the manager kind of thought that they had already clinched moving on to the quarterfinals. They have a rather embarrassing showing with Italy, lose that game, and then they have to hope now that Italy either wins or Mexico wins by 5 or more runs. Kind of an interesting situation.
I love the WBC. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so exciting. It's shared vision. You're playing for your country. It's even more different than if they had Olympic baseball. I mean, it's exciting. And in Puerto Rico, those games, that's a party. It's so much fun. Everybody's into it. The other thing about the WBC is the fan base is very knowledgeable about the game.
Yeah.
That makes it so exciting. But to have Italy, I lived in Italy for a little bit, not long, and coached the Italian Davis Cup. You just don't think Italy in baseball. And then they're drinking espresso. Guy hits 3 home runs, which he's never done in his life. I've coached many guys to hit 3 home runs. That's formidable. First time that ever happened in WBC. But Italy, come on. It's pretty amazing that Italy is even in the contest, much less in the, going. We'll see how far they go. But it is a little embarrassing, I think, for the U.S. to lose to Italy. I mean, come on. We invented baseball. We know baseball. Right. We're experts in baseball. But what it shows is if you look at baseball, a lot of Puerto Ricans, a lot of Dominicans, a few Cubans. It's a lot of Latino base. And, of course, those players are now playing for Puerto Rico, Cuba, and Venezuela, et cetera. So it does water down the Major League Baseball players. Yeah. But very exciting. And to have espresso after every home run, I mean, come on. Cappuccino machine. I mean, let's go Italy.
Okay, I want to talk to you about something that happened. And this isn't necessarily what the beef was between these two players, but it's just kind of a general mindset of players today in multiple sports. So you have Cal Raleigh and Randy Rosarina are teammates during with the Mariners. They were opposed to each other in the game, and of course Randy came up to hit, and he went to shake Cal's hand, and Cal wasn't having any of it, and he's just like, get in the box and let's go. You're not my teammate today, kind of thing. And Randy was a little bit upset with this, and basically said at least Cal was raised by good parents, because I got to see him in the hotel and they hugged me and all that stuff. And then Randy was not happy with what had happened. And I was of an era of when, you didn't go shake the hands of your opponents after a game. You certainly didn't go shake hands with them before the game, hang out, exchange, phone numbers, I guess, drink some espresso or whatever, they're doing these days. We didn't exchange jerseys. We didn't exchange anything other than, I didn't like the guys, I didn't like Brett Favre. I didn't like Steve Young. I didn't like Troy Aikman. Now I did like Marino. It was fun because we had, but anyways, and now it's like everybody's just nice and happy and wonderful. What's a good, I guess, balance for players? Because I kind of like not liking my opponents, and it seems to be different today.
I never liked my opponent. Are you kidding me? I played pro tennis. If I lost, I wanted to fist fight you after the match. I mean, I was that competitive. You were competitive. I think Cal's old school, really. Uh, I don't believe in shaking hands. Now, his teammates, he's going to be traveling 162 games with Cal.
Right.
So we're going to have to, kumbaya a little bit. But listen, BC, every man for himself. Lock in on what you're doing. It's all about winning. It's not about me giving you a hug. I'm old school with you.
I think what should happen is Cal Raleigh, Randy Rosarina should sip espresso, kind of have a sit down, just kind of break the ice and make sure their pinky is off of the cup, right? So a little pinky off the cup, espresso, sit down, and mend the fences once the regular season gets started.
I think it'll be, if you look at the manager of the Mariners, Dan Wilson, who I know, he's not going to let that impact the Mariners at all. So I think it's a nothing burger, really. But I like it. I like the competitiveness of it. Old school.
Okay, so it's free agency, of course, has started. The official start of the NFL season started yesterday. So the NFL season has started. Not playing games yet, but the season started, and a lot to look forward to. And of course, we talked a little bit about the Max Crosby situation. There's also another situation I think is really interesting in the NFL, and it's these young quarterbacks who were drafted a couple years ago. J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota, Michael Penix Jr. with Atlanta, and they've kind of been given their grace period where, okay, let's see you develop. Let's see where you are. There have been some injuries. There have been some, maybe inconsistencies in their play. And now the teams have said, all right, we're bringing in the guns. We're bringing in the proven veteran guys who have been cast off by their previous teams and no longer wanted. And we want to see if these guys can kind of move the needle either in their own careers, like a Daniel Jones, where he got cast off by the Giants and really found, I think, gold in Indianapolis. But how do you approach coaching a player where they're in this situation on both sides? On the side of, okay, you got this veteran coming in who's ready to take your spot, how do you up your game? And then from the veteran side of it, it's like, man, I'm trying to resurrect my career. I'm trying to be the next Daniel Jones or Sam Darnold or Geno Smith or whomever. So what's the mindset? What should these guys be going through?
J.J. McCarthy, his mindset has just got to be blinders. Do what you can do. Don't think about Kyler Murray. I think Murray, has he officially signed with Minnesota? I don't think.
Well, no, he's in. They're doing the song and dance, and I, it's one of those things too where the market kind of dries up quickly, and so maybe Kyler Murray wasn't their first choice or their second choice, but he's the only choice at this point.
I think Kyler Murray fits great with the Vikings.
Yeah.
I do. In that scheme, I think Jefferson's going to be excited that Kyler Murray's there. But the toughest competition in pro sports is usually within the quarterback room or the locker room. I got to beat this guy out every day. And I know if I fail, that guy's going to take my spot. It's so competitive. And it was like that with Marino. You wanted to play every day, not him. But when somebody's got a big contract and you're not coming in, that makes it tough. That's when I get the calls, when they don't feel they're getting the flowers and the love that they deserve. But it's two different style of quarterbacks, and Murray's proven more than McCarthy. I'm not going to college in terms of that being proof. It's not. He's not proven himself. But that's going to be a competitive locker room if he goes. And J.J. McCarthy is going to have to really remain disciplined, remain focused, and just keep getting better every day. He's going to have his chances. There's no question if he's the backup. But that's not how he went there. He went there as the savior of the franchise, the face of the franchise, getting rid of Darnold and bringing him. So This is a big deal for Minnesota. We'll see what they do. I think they do sign Kyler Murray, and I think it'll be a decent fit. Not
Yeah,
the best.
how do you think Murray goes? Because he's like, there's something has to change. The perception of me, I'm a guy that's, I'm a short guy, but I'm a really fast guy, and I have a unique mindset or skill set. Because like even now they're like, well, we want to bring him in and work him out. Usually you don't need to work out a guy, and so
I don't understand,
especially a veteran guy. And so I think they're trying to really kind of take a look, look under the hood, so to speak, and just say, okay, we see him in person, we see him working out, we go, yeah, we like what we see, we can make this happen. Or we're like, no, but what is Kyler Murray in kind of his approach? What does he need to change so he creates a kind of a new perception of who he is?
I don't know if this is true or not. It's only something that I read. Maybe you know more than I do on that. But his reputation, they put in his clause that he has to study, that he wouldn't always study, wouldn't always prepare. That's a bad rap, really, for a quarterback who's got to be the most astute, the most prepared, maybe of anybody on the team. He's got so much responsibility. It comes back to, can Kyler Murray or J.J. McCarthy create a shared vision within the locker room? That's the most important thing. It's not individuals. Okay, you got your contract, free agency's over. Now we need shared vision. What does that mean? I'm here to win a Super Bowl. I'm only here to do that, and I'm an integral part of that. Which of the quarterbacks, and that Kyler Murray needs to come in and go, I'm the guy. I'm an integral part of something greater than myself, but he has to spread the shared vision. It's not about Kyler Murray. It's not about J.J. McCarthy. It's not about Jefferson. Can we win a Super Bowl? Not get there, win it. And that's what it's about. Shared vision helps the team win, and the lack of it, because of selfishness and it's me, that'll cause you to lose more times than not. That's why Kyler Murray needs to go in there thinking like that. It's not about his stats. It's not about what he can do. He knows what he can do. He's great at dumping the ball off, short passes over the middle. He's great at escaping the pocket. All that's great. He is susceptible to injury, but that's why you have JJ. But if Kyler goes there, he's going to start. Can he lead them with shared vision? No jealousy, nothing. All for one, one for all. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a a default mechanism where you're kind of a caged animal a little bit, or a wounded animal. You're Kyler Murray. Your ego's been, this was, you were asked to a Super Bowl in Arizona and it didn't work out, and there's speculation about your work ethic, about your focus, all of these things. And the tendency, and because I love your answer, but the tendency, I think, is to go, you draw within yourself and you go, how can I, how can I do my part? How can I get, the stats? How can I, and you just kind of focus on me, so to speak. And when you come in there with this, hey, I want to bring everyone along. I want to involve people. I want to be accessible. I want to do all of these things that creates this, this, as you say, this shared vision. And it's almost like one of those things, like I think of when you go and serve people, right? And you forget about yourself per se, and you just go out and you just serve people, and you just feel better. Like when you go help someone, I've never in my life ever done that and go, man, that was horrible. Like you just always feel better about yourself when you don't make it about yourself anymore and you make it about other people. And I think it's a great perspective to have when he goes this new situation.
It's a perfect time to reinvent yourself if that's what you choose to do. I mean, look, Danny Dimes did that, reinvented himself in Indianapolis, and now he's got a $50 million contract, 1 year only, with option. I get it, but he did reinvent himself. Who else? Sam Darnold reinvented He reinvented himself. We'll see if Geno Smith going to Miami reinvent himself, that I am the guy that can do this. I will carry it. So it's a perfect opportunity for Kyler Murray to let go of the past. He should have only one word on his mind, and that is next, next play, next day, one day at a time. I know why I'm here. I'm here to win. I would call all my offensive linemen. I'd buy them something, take them to dinner. They're going to help me and protect me. First guy I would call if I was Kyler Murray, I'd call Jefferson up and go, we need to be best friends.
Yeah.
Come in here. And that helps the shared vision. Reinvent yourself.
Yeah. It's, it'd be fascinating to see how these guys handle all this, because it now seems to be a trend in the NFL. And these quarterbacks that didn't work out, a lot of hype, a lot of expectation, and it just, the results didn't match. And then they bounced to a new one, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, and others. Geno Smith even did it when he was in Seattle before he went to Las Vegas. So yeah, so it's going to be fascinating to watch. Okay. Aaron Judge, his 1-for-1 card just sold at auction for $5.2 million. It's the highest number of a collectible card from a modern era player in baseball. And I'm not so much interested in, wow, that was pretty remarkable, but it got me to thinking about someone out there in the world was willing to pay $5.2 million to have this thing, this collectible. And I was curious, do you have things in your life that like you collect, and you didn't have to buy them at auction? Maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it's junk. Maybe you go to antique stores, or maybe you have, dirty baseball cleats that you collect. Is there something that just makes no sense to other people that you actually collect and keep and value as your treasure?
Well, my collectibles are signed baseballs only of my clients.
Oh,
It's only, I don't have anything that's not a client. So I do have those things that I collect, but outside of that, I don't collect a lot of things, really.
so you're not a hoarder?
Baseball,
You don't.
I'm not a hoarder in terms of collecting, except baseballs, but only clients. And I have those, and those mean a lot to me, because every time I look at it, it just brings up all the late nights I spent with that guy to help him get to where he was going to go. So that's a personal thing for me.
Yeah.
And I walk by it all the time, and need to take a nap after I walk by it, because I knew how much time I spent with that person.
See, I think that would be cool to those guys, because I'm sure it's very meaningful. Because you think of the memories, the moments, all of the time, the sacrifice, and everything. For me, what I love to collect is fishing rods, fly fishing rods.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a bunch of them. Yeah.
How many fishing rods would you have?
Oh gosh, I have. It's over 100.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Well,
And they're not cheap, by the way.
they're not.
No.
And I can tie a fly. Also, my dad taught me how to do that. But the thing about fly fishing, that's a zone activity.
Oh, it's the best.
It's so, once you get the hang of it, and you can put that fly on a lily pad or wherever you're trying to hit it, and I've done a lot of that, you get into a zone state, a purposeful calm, no different than a pro athlete. So yeah, fly fishing, that's a zone experience.
So
I'm not sure why you need 100 rods, but that's another subject.
Oh. And you need the reels to go with them too, and the there's all different kinds of fly line and all this stuff, and so it's my thing. And I tie my own flies. I have all kinds of stuff. It's really fun. But I had this experience, because you were talking about a zone moment, and man, it is true. Like I have the bug for fly fishing, like you have no idea. And there's so you saltwater fly fish in the shallow kind of reef areas in places all around the world. And there's just and I was in Belize doing this, and permit are a deep water fish that actually feeds in shallow water, but they're very skittish, and they have unbelievable eyesight. And to get even close to a permit is almost impossible. and they're almost halfway out of the water as they're feeding, and you see them, and so you're stalking these permit, and you have to have a long cast that's very accurate, and you don't get false cast. So it's I mean, it's a long cast, one shot, boom, and you try to hit it. Now, if you get too close to the fish, you'll spook it. If you get too far away from it, it won't see the fly. And so you have to, it's the hardest fish to catch on a fly rod. And if people know that you've caught a permit on a fly rod, it's a very respectful thing. Like you're a legitimate saltwater fly fisherman if you've caught a permit on a fly. So I went to Belize with 3 other guys. We fished for 4 straight days, permit only. We weren't fishing for any other fish. And of the 4 of us, and all of us were considered like excellent to expert fly fishermen, and only 2 of us caught a permit in 1. So
Wow.
we got in 4 days, and we fished hard, but I caught mine literally, I'm not kidding, last cast, last day, late in the afternoon, and it was like I won the Super Bowl. I'm just
Hail Mary. You had a Hail
Oh
Mary.
my goodness. It was the most, when you talking about a zone moment. Oh my goodness. That was so exciting when
Are
when
you ready? Are you ready for this, Scott? Because I want to give you my first ever fly fishing tip.
yes.
If you want to go to be a world-class fly fisherman, when you're in the water, have your jaw unhinged.
Ooh.
If you clench your jaw, you will
Ooh.
change grip pressure
Yeah.
on the reel and the
Yeah.
rod. And once you change grip pressure, you will not be as accurate. Jaws unhinged, breathing under 10 breaths a minute, locked in only where you want the fly to land, and where you want it to not only land, but where you want it to scoot
Yeah.
a couple of feet maybe. And jaws unhinged, hands become soft, you'll be more accurate.
Yeah.
Now that applies to golf.
Yeah.
That applies to almost every sport. You clench your jaw, you'll clench your fist. You clench your fist, you'll have less touch,
Yeah.
less feel, and that's what you need in fly fishing. First ever saltwater fly fishing tip for me to the general public.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's a good one. That was a crazy experience, by the way. That whole trip was, we saw howler monkeys banish one of their own, a fer-de-lance snake on the front steps of the lodge we were staying, which is one of the most deadly snakes in the world. And then we had to maneuver through this rainforest in this little stream. We stayed in this lodge in a rainforest. It was really cool, but it was about a 20-minute boat ride on this river in Belize that led out into the ocean. And we got to the mouth of the ocean. There's 4 national park rangers with AK-47s looking for poachers who had poached like
Oh my goodness.
a black panther or something out of the rainforest, which was and they said, "You seen anyone with a black panther?" And we're like, "We haven't seen anything. We don't know nothing." And so they let us pass, but it was quite an experience.
But you know why it was so much fun? This goes back to shared vision.
Yeah.
Your group of guys had one mission. We got to catch a permit fish.
Yeah, it was incredible.
I love it.
Anyways, there you go. From Aaron Judge to AK-47s in the jungle of Belize. It only happens here on the Down and Dirty. I want to do a fun game with you today. All right. We've done this in football where we picked the 17-0 perfect team in the NFL of current players. So we went through every single position and we picked who we thought would be the player that would go through the perfect season. Now I know baseball's 162 games and a perfect season is not realistic, but they're probably going to win 110 plus games and win the World Series hands down in 4 games, no question. So I want Jim Fannin's version of the perfect baseball team from modern players. So to start with, your starting pitcher, who is the guy that's going to be on that baseball team?
I might go with Skeens to start. I like him. Who else? First
Okay.
base.
Well, hang on. We'll go through these one at a time.
Okay.
This is a game, and I'm the game host, the game show host.
I got it.
Okay. So you have a reliever. So you're going to have a closer. So do you want to do a middle reliever? Because pitchers are so specialized today. We'll do a middle reliever in your closer. So who comes in and kind of gets you through those late innings?
Well, I'm going to have Chapman as a closer. He is a closer.
So he's your closer.
He's my closer.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Long relief. There's so many picks. Let me pass on that right now. I don't know which one to.
We'll leave that open. All right. Who's your catcher?
I'm going to go with Cal.
Oh, okay. All right. First base.
Judge
at first base.
No, sorry. Judge will be in center, in right field, center field. He'll be outfield. Who would I have on first base? And they're playing right now.
They're playing today. Yeah.
I'm gonna. Oh, I got two guys that I coach, and I can't. I got to pass. I can't. I have to pick one of my guys, and I don't know which one to. I pass.
You can platoon them.
I'm going to pass.
So, are you saying? I saw this thing with Terry Pendleton, and he was talking about kind of those unwritten baseball rules, and how someone threw at Otis Wilson, I think, and hit him, and so they were in the dugout. No, actually, it was Deion Sanders, and they were in the dugout, and Greg Maddux was the pitcher. So they're sitting in the dugout. They hit Deion, and Terry Pendleton looks at Greg Maddux and says, "I got you covered." And Bobby Cox was kind of, rolling his eyes a little bit. So they take Greg Maddux out of the game, so he doesn't go back out onto the mound. They bring this other pitcher in, and Terry Pendleton tells Bobby Cox, if this first pitcher or this first hitter doesn't get hit, I'm walking off the field. And the guy throws a slider down and away, and Terry Pendleton just leaves the game. And he said, and so there's this kind of big thing about it. And he said the pitcher came up to him afterwards and he says, "I thought you left the game because my stuff was so good that we didn't even have to play with a third baseman." And so he didn't realize that he had, I guess, broken the cardinal rules of baseball. By the way, how do you feel about that? The unwritten rules of baseball that are, like if one of your guys get hit, their guy's going to get, there's this retaliation kind of mindset in baseball. Is it good? Is it healthy? Does it still exist today?
Love it. Love it. I'm telling my guys, double up inside, take the plate, get him off the plate. He's hanging over the plate, bust him in. I'm a Bob Gibson, Don Drysdale, old school. The home plate belongs to me, so get off the dish. I'm taking it. So I like going inside and busting guys' chops. The unwritten rule, this happened to me. I'm coaching Mike Cameron. He hits 2 home runs in the first inning. They batted around. He's now hit 3 home runs. Now he's up for his 4th at bat. He hits 4 home runs. And I'm like, what? I'm there. It's in Old Comiskey. 3-0 count on his 5th at bat. He knows it's a cookie down the middle, but old school says you don't do that. They were up at maybe 7 or 8 runs. You just don't swing at a 3-0 pitch when you're, that's that unwritten rule. He takes it. He knew it was cookie down the middle. And then at 3-1, he hits a bomb to the wall. He would have had 5 home runs. But the 3-0 where he took it, he had that old school mentality. This isn't right. I can't swing. And he asked me, should I have swung? And I go, absolutely. I could would have jacked that thing out of here. 5 home runs, no one's ever done it.
Yeah.
But that's where that falls into what you're saying. What's the unwritten rule?
So to clarify on your team here, you're not having a first baseman because your pitchers are just that good.
I'm not having a first baseman because I'm conflicted on who to pick. I'm conflicted definitely at second base.
Because that's where we're going next. So who's at second?
I figure we're going to second. I've got a conflict there that I can't say. Shortstop, I think a lot of people would like for me to take Bobby Witt Jr. Okay, he's great. I'm not. I'm going to take Francisco Lindor, mainly because he's a switch hitter, leadoff guy, leader guy. So I would pick him. He was a starter in the All-Star. Third base, I have a challenge. I'm coaching 2 third base.
And this is this is a Abbott and Costello routine here.
I'm definitely bailing on this on you. And then the outfield, I do have some conflicts, but Judge has got to be in the outfield.
Okay.
And then Shohei Ohtani has got to be. I might have him as my starting pitcher also, though I like Skeens. And Shohei's got to be in the lineup, definitely.
So you have a DH. Is Shohei your DH?
He'd be my DH if I wasn't going to put him in the outfit. No question about it. I could take the Dodgers and just say everybody on the Dodgers is my team.
Yeah.
It's an all-star team, top to bottom on the Dodgers. So, yeah. But this has put me under stress. I've thought about this a lot. I've been asked to pick and choose, and I've had 100, not 100 baseball, but I've probably had 20, 30 baseball players I've signed an anonymity agreement. So I'm totally prejudiced with my guys. I've coached a Silver Slugger, Scott, in every position, and a Gold Glover in every position. So there's my conflict.
Yeah, it's a tough world you live in, Jim.
Sport, I can tell that.
All right. Oh boy. So if you, I don't know how. All right. So you have your baseball team. Feel good about it. What are the Dodgers the team to beat this year? Are they the ones that are?
Yeah, I think so. They just reload and reload. I mean, their pitching staff is formidable, top to bottom, close everything. Yeah, they have to be. Well, they've won it twice.
Yeah,
I think they can reload again. I'll tell you what I would like to talk about, which I think is a zone experience, is Bam Adebayo.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to get to him, but yeah, go for it.
That is just unbelievable to me that particular player, and I followed him at Kentucky. I'm a Kentucky fan. How did he score 83 points? I think he went to the line 40 times.
Yeah.
They kept feeding him the ball, obviously, once you get rolling. But if you saw the interview after, he didn't know what to say. He was in a coma. He was in a zone coma where he couldn't even describe how he felt. He had no words. When you get locked in the zone, it normally lasts 12 seconds and it's gone. That could be one at bat, one play, one putt, a zone putt. And the next zone run is about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. You can get a run going. So, I could score 20 points in the first quarter and zone out. Usually you're not going to back that up in the second, third, and have 83 points. So to maintain that for the whole game, like Kobe did, like Wilt did, although we couldn't see it because it wasn't on TV.
Yeah.
Even somebody scoring 60 is pretty amazing. The question is, and I would say this, if I was coaching Bam, which I'm not, but if I was, he would get my call after the game, and I would say one thing: you're only as great as the game after greatness. Get your fanny back in the trench and just reach your standard for the second game. Don't try to match 83. That may never happen again. But that's something I've said in every sport. Next. Okay, great. I'm glad you did it. But the key of being great is reaching a high minimum requirement for satisfactory performance, a high standard over a long period of time. I can't wait to see what happens in the 1, 2, 3 games after the 83.
Yeah.
Because what happens, everybody wants to talk about it. And if they want to talk about it and they want to interview you, they're dragging you into the past.
Yeah.
You're into the past, you're not in the moment, which is how you dropped 83. He was totally present, and you can feel it. You can feel when somebody's in that state. Kawhi Leonard was in a zone last night, dropped 45 on the Timberwolves. And Timberwolves had no answer from the very beginning to the very end when they took Kawhi out. He was locked in. He's a zone guy when he's healthy. Now, I would say to Kawhi, you're only as great as the game after greatness. I want to see what you do back to back. And Scott, this is why a pro golfer doesn't win tournament in a row. Scotty Scheffler's done that. He's disciplined. Koepka, I think, won back to back. Tiger didn't win that many back to back. And that's because everybody and their mom wants to talk about what you did. And again, you go into that second event, not locked in and being present.
It's funny how a lot here with what you've said, but just that last part, it's funny how when you so often have success or just a major, and people are talking to you and you're living the moment and you're like, oh man, it's incredible. And it's like you're speechless and you just, you're all of these things. And it's almost harder to get locked into the next game than if you lose. Because then you lose, you're like, no one wants to talk to you. You're all pissed off. You want to go prove to the world that, okay, that's not who we are. And there's this greater urgency towards getting back into that focus and that mindset. And it's always been a fascinating thing to me how success is actually harder to combat and deal with than failure, which I've always found to be so interesting.
It is. The longest I've seen a pro athlete be in a zone state, 33 days.
Yeah.
I mean, locked. I didn't even want to talk to him. And that was Joey Cora,
right,
of all players, with Seattle a long time ago, 33 days. But most of the athletes, the top ones I've talked to, 20 days, 21 days. I know in a baseball season, 162 games, Frank Thomas would get into a zone 4 times where he would make a run of 10 days locked in. It didn't matter what you threw him. He's going to hit it solid with an accelerated bat every time. But that's like a rubber band of energy. And when that pops, you got to regroup. And when you're aware of being in the zone, you're not in it anymore.
Right.
And that's why in baseball, if you're pitching a perfect game, everybody moves to the other end of the dugout, which tells the pitcher, holy crap, I'm in the zone. Yeah. And that's usually what takes you out of the zone. I had a guy in tennis, an older guy, who's like 40-some, and I'm a young 17-year-old playing in a men's tournament. And he came up to me in a changeover. He goes, you're amazing. You're unbelievable. I've never seen anybody better than you. I don't even know how I could possibly win. And I'm like, what? And anyway, I lost the match, and he took me so out of the zone. I'll never forget that. I was so ticked off to allow that guy to do that. Yeah. But being in the zone is really, that's the quest of every pro athlete, to be in that purposeful calm. And when you're in it, your eyes, this, they double or triple shutter speed, which slows everything down. While everything's going 100 miles an hour, you're in this invisible phone booth, just calm and cool, alone in a crowd, doing your progressions, going on the on-deck circle, going to the range, whatever it is, you're alone in a crowd. And I'll never forget seeing Tiger Woods on the range. I'm on the range with one of my guys, Charles Howell III, and Tiger's at the end of the range, and everybody's talking to everybody else, manufacturers, agents walking around. But at the very end, there was an invisible sign that said, "Man at work, get away from me."
Yeah.
And no one went down there. He was alone in a crowd. And you could look at it and go, "Oh, he's going to get off. He's going to go off on this round." And he would. And that's what's always fascinated me. I've dedicated my whole life to that. But putting that zone on like an overcoat, like a Superman cape, come on, you've done that a few times. There's nothing like it. But can you do it again and again? Because they're going to ask you to do that. The fans are going to want you to do it. The people that are paying you want to do it. And that's really the game. Can you be in high score state or high zone state?
I saw that with Tiger multiple times, what you're describing. I witnessed that. And it was this imaginary, very real like place, like, don't mess with me today. And you're talking about your eye speed, your eyes where it slows everything down. And it just made me think of one of the things that they said about Wayne Gretzky was how he was just going at a pace that was just different than everyone. And it was actually almost a slower pace. Like everyone was all rushed and he was just out there kind of, and almost like he was this off-speed pitcher, that, and he just had a pace to himself that was just different than everyone else. I want to get back to Bam though.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP, he's like that. Yeah. He's in that phone booth, purposeful calm.
So I want to go back to Bam and because I'm fascinated by these scoring records in a game, and it's like you're sucking up a lot of the air on a basketball court when you're scoring 83 points, 100 points. What kind of, and it looked like, Bam's teammates were like, they were all in on this. They were helping, supporting. Looked like the Wizards weren't. They were trying to stop him. And so it did feel kind of a genuine thing, but sometimes it's like, can it be forced? Can it's like you're just, as I said, just sucking all the air out of a basketball court at everyone else's expense, especially when we've been sitting here talking about shared vision and involving your teammates and having everyone there. Where is the line between, selfish and you're just locked in?
I think when you're locked in, you just lock in and don't think about past, future, left, teammates. Do your best to stay in your lane, and not get out of the lane like Bam out there shooting 3-pointers all day long. That's not what happened. He went to the free throw line an inordinate amount of time. He stayed in his lane. But a zone performance like that can take other players out of the zone. Your own team could be out of it because now you're a spectator watching it instead of a participant being locked in the zone, taking care of your own business. And of course, the ultimate for any team is, can I get everybody in the zone? Well, that's a championship team. Everybody locked in, stay in your lane, get the job done, do what you're hired to do. If you're a 3-and-D guy in the NBA, shoot the three, play good defense, stay in your lane and do it well. That's the tough thing in sports right now, is staying in a zone state because of shows like this. Everybody's talking about you. Fans are talking about you. Fans are gambling on you doing well.
Right.
And when you don't, well, that's not fun. I just lost 10 grand on a guy that I knew it was a good bet. Well, it turned out to be a bad bet. So there's all kinds of this. But I've said this to every athlete, stay in a little phone booth. When you're going to the yard, when you're going to the arena, you've got to be in your little alone in a crowd mindset because everything's going around you. You don't want to look people in the eye because now they want to engage with you. The pre-performance, if you want a zone performance, needs to be routine. Most of these guys have routines. You get out of your routine when you score 83 and everybody wants to talk to you. Now you're out of your routine that didn't get you the 83. So the 83 could take everybody out of the zone. It's a great feat, and second all time ahead of Kobe. But I think maintaining that zone state becomes very difficult. It's difficult anyway. I mean, that's why I've been in business for a half century.
All right. So last question, and it's kind of fitting that it's last. You have one shot to win the NBA championship all time. Who is the player that you want taking that shot?
Michael.
Is it Michael Jordan?
Case closed. Michael.
Not a Larry Bird?
Michael.
Not even close.
Listen,
Even if Michael pushes off and things like that, the dirty basketball that he played.
Yeah, you dislike that because they beat your Utah boys.
Yes, that's very true.
I understand that. Was it a push off? It was a brilliant push off. I was a Bulls fan. Yes, he pushed off. Yeah, I think Mike, because I know Mike's going to get open. But would I take Larry Bird? Oh my goodness, of course. Kobe. There's a lot of guys you could take, but I'm going with Mike, hands down.
Yeah, I probably am.
You want me to? Who are you going with? Karl Malone?
No. I said I'm probably taking Michael Jordan too.
Yeah.
No.
You got to go.
Larry Bird though to me would be a very, very close second, and only because Larry Bird is one of these guys that he had a different range than Michael did. Michael wasn't a great 3-point shooter, but Larry was just lights out from pretty much anywhere, and just so great at creating shots, and really was a guy. And they're built from the same cloth, but a guy who wanted the ball in that moment and expected to make it in that moment as well.
I got a real quick Larry Bird story. I'm in the old Chicago Stadium, and I'm going to meet some guys in the Blackhawks. Their office there, and as I'm going into the arena, it's empty. It's noon. I hear somebody shooting basketball down in the court. I look down, and it's Larry Bird catching a pass, shooting a three from the corner, catching a pass, shooting a three. I go into a meeting that's an hour. I come out, and Larry Bird is still catching a pass, shooting the same shot, 1 hour. And then, the game's later that night. I go to the game, and that shot is the shot that beat the Bulls that night. The same shot he spent an hour over and over on. And I looked at him, I said, man, that's discipline. This is a disciplined guy. And yes, would I take him for the last shot? Absolutely. 100%.
All right. That's all we have for today. So you get Michael Jordan and a little espresso. Have a little espresso today for me.
Go to Zone Coach. Send me an email. Follow me on YouTube. Also, I got a little show, Living in the Zone. So it's not all sports. It's everything. And down and dirty, Scott. Down and dirty. I like it.
All right. You're the best. Thank you. Yep. Thank you so much. Go check out zonecoach.com. It's awesome. It'll change your life forever. We have so much more when the Down and Dirty returns. Some crazy stories going on in sports today. You don't want to miss them. So we'll be right back. So stick around.
The Pete Souza Show, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. You want to talk NFL draft? I don't know. How about we get you Todd McShay? You want to talk Big 12? We can get you the commissioner. Somebody about the Cowboys? How about we have on the owner, Stephen Jones? Pop culture? Michelle Beadle. I mean, we will bring on the people that you want to hear from. And these people don't join us because of me. They join us because of you. You got to watch this show, okay? It's got everything you need. Sports, hijinks, laughs. Did I mention hijinks? We'll see you on the Pete Souza Show. Now, we are under the 365 Sports umbrella. Check it out. I'm wearing a Tulane shirt. No idea why.
It's the Pete Souza Show. Sports.
is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Sports don't stop, and neither do we. Welcome to 365 Sports, your home for real conversations, original shows, and coverage that lives where sports actually happen. Join David Smoke, Craig Smoke, and myself, Paul Catalina, for in-depth interviews and local stories to the moments national media misses. 365 Sports brings you the voices, debates, and perspectives fans care about every single day. Subscribe now on YouTube, search 365 Sports, and never miss a moment because sports aren't seasonal. They're 365.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back. It's the Down and Dirty Scott Mitchell. So glad you could be here on this lovely, beautiful, at least where I am. Actually, most days where I am are lovely and beautiful. I'm not joking. I live in what I believe is one of the most beautiful places in the world. So come on by. You're always welcome. You can hang out in the studio. We'll do something fun. I can promise you that. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Like it, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. All right. An interesting thing happened recently when I believe it was in Italy and the United States were playing. Anyways, Randy Rosarina and Cal Raleigh are teammates normally, but not on this day. And this was the nice, warm, friendly exchange they had when Randy came to bat and Cal was catching. All right, there you have it. As you can see, Randy's extended his hand in a gesture of good sportsmanship. And hey, buddy, you're my teammate. Come on. And Cal's looking at, like, you can see Cal Raleigh looking at him like, are you serious? Really? Right now? I'm not on your team, buddy. You're on another team. Get your hand out of my face. I don't want to have anything to do with you. Now, this brings up to me something that I find so fascinating in the world of sports. And quite frankly, I'm shocked at Cal Raleigh and his response, because that's just not the world we live in sports today. Everyone's just nice. There's all this, hey, let's hug it out, bro. And all this cool stuff, right? And I come from a generation where I didn't go and say, hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Now, I had former teammates on teams where I would, get a picture or something, but it was after the game. But on a normal circumstance, I was not like high-fiving, not going up to, like, there was not this thing of the quarterback exchange. It's like quarterback exchange where you go up and you kind of, shake hands and all this stuff. And of course the coaches have for years and all this time, but quarterbacks never did it in my day. Like they didn't, if they knew a guy and they were friends with them, whether they went to college together or whatever, but it was not this nice, friendly, warm, cozy thing. And I look at this situation and it just makes me laugh, because the picture that's on the frame right now is so beautiful and so telling. And there's, and I don't think either one of these guys is wrong, actually, because everyone's like, oh, come on, just shake his hand. Like, what's the big deal? And Cal Raleigh's like, dude, there's a certain way that I play. There's a certain etiquette, and you're not my teammate right now. You're the enemy of me right now. And that's just the way it is. And so there is no friendly. Now, maybe after whatever, fine. We can do whatever. But right now, man, I'm all business. And on the other side of it, it's like, hey, we need to be nicer to one another. We can still compete against each other, but we can be friends. We can shake hands. We can do all this stuff. And I honestly believe It's whatever gets you in your mindset, whatever makes you locked in. Some guys feel like extending that hand of, friendship or whatever helps them to be more relaxed. And other guys go, man, I got to be dialed in and focused, and I can't talk to anyone. I can't like anyone. I can't do anything, because that's really going to throw me out of my rhythm and where I am. So I get both sides of this. And I know people are trying to make a lot out of this, and I'm not really trying to make a lot out of it, other than I think I don't think anyone's wrong here. I don't think, oh, how dare you, or or whatever. I really don't, and I think it's just two players trying to get locked in to get ready to play a baseball game, and they do it in their own way. But it's funny. I don't know, of all the things that I've seen, while this just gives me a little chuckle. And this is, remember, this is the World Baseball Classic. It's not like the World Series. It's not like a regular, and so I think there is a little bit more of a laxed atmosphere. But clearly you can see Cal Raleigh, man, he's like, no, I'm taking this serious. This is really a business, deal. So, which I like, because we're all complaining like, oh, our exhibition games, our all-star games are so meaningless and so without passion. And clearly this has not been the case. So I love it. Okay, moving on. We have Kyler Murray is actually going to try out today, and this is fascinating, with the Minnesota Vikings. Here's kind of some of what's going on there.
What does this mean if it happens for J.J. McCarthy?
My understanding is that the Vikings are not ready to give up on J.J. McCarthy.
Right.
But they also are not going to just install him as this year's starter, because obviously a lot needs to change off of last year. So the theory and the hope is you get one of these veterans, like Kyler Murray's probably going to sign a minimum salary deal because of all the money Arizona's already paying him. You get one of these veterans on a low-cost, short-term commitment. He comes in and can play. Like, Justin Jefferson needs somebody that can get on the ball. Like, you're going to lose him if you don't get more competent quarterback play this year. Also, ideally, the presence of such a veteran turns a light on for J.J. McCarthy, and then a year from now, you still have him as an option. I think they would admit it's a long shot, but I don't think they're ready to give up on it just yet. This gives them optionality at the end of the 2026 season if all goes well.
All right, there you have it. That's from ESPN. Talking about the possibility of Kyler Murray coming in to Minnesota. And the thing about this that I find probably the most compelling, like they said, well, they haven't given up on JJ McCarthy. Well, of course they haven't given up on him, but this is also the NFL, and it's like you can't wait around forever. There are, I think that what happens with these players, and I'll give you an example of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is a guy who actually, I think, matured as a person, and probably when he was with the Jets, he probably was seeing ghosts. But then he went to another place and he got a different perspective, and then he went to the San Francisco 49ers and got a whole new different perspective. And each one of these places really kind of helped him to be better. So, JJ McCarthy, maybe he's not the guy ultimately in Minnesota, and maybe he has to go on an odyssey through several different teams before he finds his place, or maybe he just really blossoms because he's in this competition, whatever. But there has to be a maturing, there has to be a seasoning, there has to be a vetting process that happens, because this is the NFL, and you just don't fall off the turnip truck and you get a job and you keep it, and you say you constantly are competing to be on that field regardless. It never changes from the day you start till the day you finish. And if you're not capable of getting the job done, these coaches, it's their livelihood, it's their opportunity. They don't have the luxury of like intramural sports. This is a real deal. So yeah, they clearly like JJ McCarthy because they drafted him, and he's shown some signs of things. Now it's just, can they get it out? Can they keep him healthy? And can they get him to compete on a consistent basis where they're winning a lot of games and, going to the playoffs and competing to win a Super Bowl. Now, Kyler Murray is another fascinating aspect of this because Kyler Murray is, he's now going into a new phase of his odyssey in, can he make that journey and come to a place like someone like, Sam Darnold. Now, Kyler's done it before. Kyler's shown this. So can he capture it again? It's like Russell Wilson. Can you capture what you had early on? And sometimes maybe not. And it might be harder to come back from something as opposed to trying to just find yourself and maturing into something. That is two very different things. So it's going to be fascinating. And I'm not so sure, if there's a this confidence from the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not sure they're saying, oh yeah, we're just, we're all over this guy. It's a 1 year kind of, let's push the buttons of our JJ McCarthy. Let's press him. Let's see if he can get anywhere to, all right, what do I, maybe Kyler Murray is that guy. Who knows? We'll find out. We'll see what happens. But it's a fascinating development to me and a strategy, because this is all a strategy with all these people about, who they bring in, why they bring them in, and then what happens when they get there. They may see, I look at last year with Daniel Jones. I think that the Indianapolis Colts already had their mind made up about Anthony Richardson before that season ever started. I think they knew, look, this guy, he ain't got it. I could have told them that before they drafted the guy. He ain't got it. Like it wasn't, it's one of these things where you go, man, these guys are so talented. They're so amazingly athletic. They can run, they can jump, they can throw the ball 100 miles kind of thing. But can they really play quarterback? And not everyone can do that. And I could just tell you that what he was going to be asked to do in the NFL, he wasn't capable of doing. Now, could he grow into that? Who knows? Possibly. But this, you just don't. I don't think you get the patience with someone like that's a project, that's a long way away, and you draft them high. I don't think you get the luxury. If you draft Anthony Richardson later in these later rounds, and you let him stick around on your team for 4 or 5 years as a backup, it's almost a better way to develop a player like that than to just throw him out into the wolves before he's way ready. But I think the Colts said, shoot, we loved Daniel Jones before. This is a guy who's been productive in the NFL, and he can do it. And so I really wonder, and I know they're saying all the right things in Minnesota, but underneath it all, they're like, McCarthy ain't got it. So we'll see where that ends up. I don't know, but it's certainly fascinating. Now, another thing to me is the Max Crosby situation in returning to the Oakland Raiders. And I've kind of thought through this. I've listened to a couple of people and some takes on, what really happened and what was going on. And I think I don't, something spooked some was there. Like, I'm not totally convinced that this is about Max Crosby's health. I think they wondered, they got spooked on something. It was like in the 1983 draft. I mean, here you have Dan Marino, and I'm just telling you, and I witnessed it up close. Nobody threw the football like that. An unbelievable talent. Certainly not the 5th quarterback picked in his draft year. That there's no way in the world. But and that's what everyone said. So what, there had to have been something that spooked people, and it was the presence or which is nothing I think is weird, that Marino was like a drug guy, that he was into drugs and all this stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, that's most NFL players. Well, why would that even scare anyone off? Most of these guys, have had some kind of, partaking of drugs, whether recreational or performance. Now, I don't think quarterbacks per se, maybe they do, and maybe I missed that boat. I don't know, but There was something that spooked everyone off of Dan Marino, like everyone. And you look back on it and you go, are you people nuts? Like, why did you pass on this situation? And I think Max Crosby kind of fits that mold a little bit. There was something, and I'm not convinced it was his knee. Now, we've heard from the Raiders doctor, and they're like, look, he's in a very good position for his knee and where he is, and what's going on, with his rehab and the timing of everything. And there's nothing in Max Crosby that we are concerned about. Now, you hear this and you go, well, what was their problem? And then you go, and this is the espionage, or this is kind of the subplot of all of these scenarios in the NFL, because the Raiders made a decision. We're moving on from Max Crosby, and they're trying to get everything they possibly can out of Max Crosby. And there are teams out there going, well, maybe we could trade for Max Crosby. And the Raiders say, well, if you want Max Crosby, you're going to have to pay his 2 first-round picks. Well, now they don't have that leverage because something is amiss. And maybe the Raiders know this and knew this, and they were just trying to pull one over on people and thought they wouldn't notice. Or, and I think the doctor for the Raiders coming out and saying, and I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm just saying that it's a possibility that it could be the case. Because I'm speculating on all of this, but I'm speculating from a perspective of what you hear publicly from teams is not what's really going on behind closed doors. What went on with the Raiders? Max Crosby, they wanted to trade him. They like, we've made it. We're getting rid of this guy for whatever reason. Maybe they felt like, yeah, he doesn't have much of. Oh. I'm allergic to my microphone. I'm gonna have to get a new microphone. Anyways, I apologize for that. So we're moving on. We're going in a different direction. And we, for whatever reason, his health, his personality, we're in a massive rebuild. And when you're in a massive rebuild, you take the biggest assets you have of the day and you try to get the most value out of them. And you see this in all sports. The Utah Jazz, they said get rid of Gobert and Donovan Mitchell and capture draft picks. And so the Raiders are doing this. Whatever their strategy, they're saying this is how we're moving on. Now, you always want to get every ounce of whatever you can out of your assets, and they felt like it was 2 first-round draft picks. And so now they're stuck in a position because they go, I mean, I know it's one of those things where you go, how could you be stuck in a position because you got Max Crosby back? And Max Crosby, he's saying all the right things. It's like, I'm all in. I'm doing my thing, and Max Crosby doesn't want to be with the Raiders. I mean, they've already broken up. They've already moved in a different direction. This is, he again, again, my speculation, but I don't believe that he's really happy about being there. And I wouldn't be surprised if something happens moving forward, because the Raiders had a plan. Our plan is to rebuild. And now we have Max, and I'm sure there are other people that are now looking and go, hey, we'll take Max Crosby, but we're not giving you 2 first-round draft choices because his knee stinks. Like but we'll give you 1. And we'll give you maybe a second rounder, but we're not giving you 2 first-round picks for him at this point. And so then the Raiders have to, and maybe that's why this doctor came out and said, there's nothing wrong with his, knee, And there might be a team out there like the Cleveland Browns that's just dumb enough to pay a player $230 million fully guaranteed. There's always a sucker to be found, especially in the NFL. And I just have a hard time believing or seeing if Max Crosby is actually going to be a guy that makes it with the Raiders this year. I don't think he's going to be on the team when the season starts. I think he's going to end up somewhere else. And the Raiders are just going to have to evaluate okay, fine, we'll take 1 and a 2 and we'll be happy with it. Or maybe we find a sucker out there that'll give us 2 1s. regardless, this is far from over. But man, what a crazy turn of events for everyone involved. And usually when it's so shocking like this, there's something way behind the doors that we are not privy to. All right, we're going to take a break. We come back. So much more here on the Down and Dirty. I mean, we've got, we've got some crazy things going on. And we're going to play a game later on too. So you want to stick around for that. All right, we'll be back in just a sec.
Hey, it's Matt Mosley of The Matt Mosley Show. We want you to watch our show every day, 1 to 3 on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. And you get to see big name guests like Gary Patterson, Art Briles, Scott Drew, Doug McNamee, major Cowboys insiders, ESPN legends like Sal Palantonio. When news breaks on Cowboys or Baylor or NFL, we want you to look here first. 1 to 3 weekdays. It's the Matt Mosley Show.
For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us on our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Hey, it's Zach Gelb. We're talking NFL and college football. Plus, we have some of the biggest interviews in sports media. You got to check out the Zach Gelb Show right here on 365 Sports, weekdays, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 to 3 p.m. Central. And make sure you subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/@Zach Gelb Show.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome back. It's the Down and Dirty. Scott Mitchell. So glad you could join us. Oh, boy, we just love having you be a part of our day. Fun show today. Lots of crazy stories going on in the world of sports, and love to give you my perspective on all of those things. Now, coming up in a while, we're going to play a game. I love to play games, and I love that you get to play at home along with us. Of course, if you win the game, you get a gold star, and you get to put it on your forehead. So we're looking forward to you having success in your day and joining us. It just, I don't know. I crack up. I can't get over this whole Cal and Randy situation, teammates. And it's just such a priceless image in my brain. Of course, if you're just tuning in to what we're talking about, Randy Rosarina was coming up to bat, and I believe he plays for Italy. Cal Raleigh, who is the catcher for the U.S., they're both teammates with the Mariners, and Randy was trying to extend an olive branch, and Cal was having nothing of it. And you can't see Cal's face because he's got his catcher's mask on, but man, he was giving him the stink eye. He was giving him the dirty look. He was, he kind of had his head twisted like sideways, like, "Are you serious about this? Are you really serious?" And anyway, so it just makes me chuckle. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm so fascinated with this interchange and exchange, but it's fascinating to me. Speaking of fascinating, Martin is joining us. Do you have some thoughts on this, by the way, Martin?
I think it's a bit overblown. I think right now they're all locked into this tournament. I think a moment shared between two teammates, I can totally understand it. Like, hey, let's just, look, good game, go out there and have a good game or something like that. I totally get it. I think it's being overblown a little bit in the news, but I mean, I'm not in control of ESPN or Bleacher Report when it comes to reporting. So, at the end of the day, I don't think this will do anything really. I think them two will be fine. And when they win a World Series, they'll be on the double-decker buses sharing champagne with each other. That's what I really think.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to overblow it. I just think it's funny. It's the humor of it that I'm just really enjoying. Okay. Now, I don't know if this is funny. I don't know how I feel about this as well. I do. But so Aaron Judge, okay, he's, one of the top players in Major League Baseball, plays for the Yankees. Here comes the Judge. I don't know. I just really like Aaron Judge. I like to watch him play. So a 2013 Aaron Judge Bauman Chrome Draft Superfractor 1/1 signed card sold for $5.2 million. So it's 1/1 signed by Aaron Judge, and it's the highest paid amount for a modern day baseball player. And this 1/1, which it's like, I guess you could argue the most collectible thing, a 1/1 thing. And so someone paid $5.2 million for this. And I, for the life of me, I understand collecting things because I have autographs. I mean, in my studio here, I have autographs, and I'm very proud of them. Like I go, hey, I got Michael Irvin, I got Emmitt Smith, I got Dan Marie, I got Sergei Fedorov, one of the great hockey players just inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. I have a Steve Yzerman signed, I got all kinds of stuff, and I like it. Now, I didn't pay for any of it. And I'd never in a million years go out and go, yeah, I'm going to pay $40, let alone, millions of dollars. So I'm flabbergasted at how someone would have some kind of passion and interest and desire to just fork over that kind of money. Now you have to, that's just stupid money. And so you have to have like a lot of stupid money to pay for and get this card. I mean, what in your right mind causes you to think that? So please help me understand this, Martin. One, would you ever pay, how much would you pay for something, an autograph? And why in the world would anyone pay $5.2 million for Aaron Judge? No offense. And I don't care who it is. I don't care, Aaron's one of the best players in the world right now, but, I just couldn't see it. So why in the world would anyone want to do this?
So to the first question, there'd be two things in this world I would pay that type of money for, sports memorabilia. There'd be two things in this world I would pay that type of money for. Number one, my favorite Chicago White Sox player, my favorite baseball player, period, was Paul Konerko. He hit the Grand Slam in the 2005 World Series. If I had that bat that he hit the World Series home run with, I would pay $5.2 million for it. I would literally have that placard on my wall, and I would look at it every day, just loving it. Okay, that would be one. Two, my favorite NASCAR driver.
So let's go to this bat for just a second.
Yeah,
you would pay money, like what?
Yeah.
How much money?
If it cost $5.2 million, I'd write the check.
You would do that for $5.2 million.
Absolutely.
And so why is it just because it's that moment for you? It's because you're a fan? Is it because you have something that no one else has?
Yes.
Does it make you happy inside and just say,
yes.
So all of these things. Yes. You just keep saying yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Because it's because I was an 8-year-old child. I watched my favorite team win the World Series.
You were a what child?
8 years old. I was 8 years old at that point.
I thought you said something else. Okay. You were an 8-year-old child. Gotcha.
I was an 8-year-old child. It was my favorite team, my favorite player. And that's one of the moments you never forget where you were. I remember where I was when I watched that Grand Slam World Series home run. And I would pay $5.2 million for it. It's one of those things. It's like one of those memorable things that when you look at every day, you're reminded of the moment. You know what I mean? And so, I'd pay $5.2 million for that.
So I think as human beings, we're demented. We're sick and demented in our brains. And I think we're all that way because I think we all have our $5.2 million like item that because I know in my life I have things that I collect and I want more, and they're not anything to do with sports. Like I don't want to, I don't want to collect, but I have stuff and I have things, and people would probably look at me and go, like, you're like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And it's fishing poles. It's fishing. It's really fishing anything, fishing equipment, fishing. And it's a disease. And I have bins of stuff in my house because at the present time, I do not have a fishing boat, but I don't necessarily want to fish. I do, but I don't, because my thing is fly fishing, right? And I've touched on this a little bit earlier on the show, but I have fly rods, very expensive, and I have quite a few. And I'm not alone in this. I've been to fly shops, and people go in the fly shop and they have the fly rods come in tubes because they separate, like they break down into 4 or 5 pieces. So they're small and they're very mobile. And then you put them together and string your fly line through the fly rod. But this guy, he's in this fly shop and he says, "Don't give me the rod case with the fly with the rod." He goes, "Because my wife counts my cases, and she knows if I have an extra case that I bought a new fly rod. But if I don't have the case, she doesn't know that I have a new fly rod." So he's kind of skirting his fly rod addiction, which I have. I'm an addict. I need to go to Fly Fishermen's Anonymous. I need to do something. So I can't relate. Like I would never pay $5.2 million to have a card, but I pay probably more than that to get, more fly rods. And I see all these people in the world who, I mean, my parents are one, and my dad was the worst hoarder in the world. Now, may he rest in peace. But in fact, when my dad passed away, we went to declutter their house, and it was a monumental task. Like my parents put stuff in every nook and cranny, in every closet, in every room, in their garage. I mean, everywhere. And they just had, and it was my dad. And my dad had all these hobbies, and he had woodworking hobbies. He had painting hobbies. In fact, I have one of his paintings in my house, which is, I love and cherish, but I mean, he just had, so think of all the paint brushes, and think of all the paint, and just all the different canvases. And I mean, it was just everywhere in his house. And we were overwhelmed. And one of my sisters said, "Well, I'll call Craigslist, and we'll just notice that, hey, kind of an estate sale, getting rid of things." And I kid you not, within 30 minutes of my sister posting, my parents lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and within 30 minutes, you couldn't move. Like there were cars just lined, and people had piles of stuff that they were taking, and they go, "Can you watch my pile of stuff?" So because I go about 4 or 5 blocks to get my car, and I can't haul this stuff to my car, and I'm like, "Yeah, I got you covered here." And I am not exaggerating, within less than an hour, this whole house was just everything gone. And it was like old boards that, like, there was no junk. Like people took half open paint cans with dried up paint. They took everything. It was like this frenzy. And I was just dumbfounded by how many people in the world are just so enamored with stuff, whether it's sports stuff, whether it's it's just anything. We are a bunch of demented, hoarding, psychopathic people that just have to have our stuff. And I don't think baseball is anything different, or any memorabilia for that matter. Now, I have memorabilia from when I played, and it's valuable to me, and I love it, and I want it, and I may share some of it in the future. But for right now, I'm keeping all my stuff, and it's kind of fun. And I get older, and I don't display a lot of it like I've had in the past, but I still have my stuff because I'm a demented, psychopathic human being, just like the rest of you. Okay, let's go. We'll do this next. So, because this is one of those things I don't think people know a lot about. Anyways, before I do, Martin, any comments on what I just said?
No, I kind of agree with you. The love of our stuff can sometimes overwhelm us with all of it. And yeah, sometimes you just gotta let it go. And
So,
believe me,
are you a hoarder of stuff? Do you have? Is there something that you go, man? I just have to have. Like,
not at the moment. Like, I have a good amount of stuff, but I have it all just boxed up in my closet. Like, I have like 6 plastic containers of all my stuff. And so right now I wouldn't say I'm like desperately like cluttered up in my whole entire apartment, but no, I'm not there yet. I'm not in that stage yet. Like, if I have a house, then like I probably will be a hoarder. But like right now, I'm in an apartment. I can't be a hoarder.
But is there one thing in your life that you just like and you want to collect? Are you a collectible? So maybe you're not a psycho demented person. Maybe you're the only normal person that's on this show. Because that's what I'm feeling from you. Like, you just like you sit there and go, I don't understand you. I can't relate to this sports memorabilia thing.
No.
I don't understand any of it.
I don't have anything that I'm collecting at the moment, but you never know. I'm about to be 30, and people in their 30s, they decide what hobbies and collections that they start getting into. So hopefully that comes down the road sometime.
So you're on the tipping point. You're right on the.
Yeah, I'm 29. I'm 6 months away from 30.
Okay. So Luka Doncic is in this domestic battle about the custody of his daughters. So he's separated from his fiance. So he was not married, but they had children together, and he's going through this challenging time. And and the reason I decided to talk about this today, because I think it's a side of sports that we don't necessarily think of our sports heroes as people that actually are normal and like live a normal life. And so many people, I think one of the main questions I've been asked through the years is like, what's it like to be in that world? And there's a lot of that world that's just very normal. Like, I would say if you followed me around during an NFL season, during the week, you'd go, yeah, that's kind of like a job. Like, you go to work and, at a certain time, and you're there, and you have lunch, and you have breaks, and you do your work. Most people, whatever job they have, a lot of people work on a computer and in an office. They're in meetings, and it's like, yeah, we were studying. We had meetings. We had where we'd have walkthroughs, and we had practice and more meetings, and we had lunch, and and we're in an office situation. And then the only difference is when you go to work, you're going in front of 80,000 people and millions more watching on television. But every night I went home. And so I think people, they just see this sports world as glamorous, and they don't recognize, because some of the most gut-wrenching, challenging things happened to me when I, life things right in the middle of when I was playing professional football, and they were horrible, and horrible in that it really tugged, so I had 3 small children, and I ended up getting a divorce right in the middle. I mean, it was right at the beginning of an NFL season. And it just tears you apart. And there's a side of you that goes, well, being able to go to work and go to practice and go out to games kind of gets your mind off of it, but you're still living in this kind of, there's a hole in your heart. There's this, it's not a normal situation. Now, maybe some people function normal with with things being abnormal. It's like the dysfunction makes things normal for people. But it was really, really challenging for me. And part of the challenge is and at least is what I felt. And maybe I was wrong with this, and maybe I didn't handle it the best way, but it's kind of the world that you live in, and that is, you can't show any sign of weakness. And we talk about how competitive sports is. We were talking earlier about Kyler Murray coming in and competing against JJ McCarthy, and same thing with Tua and Michael Penix, and that just goes on every day. So you're constantly fighting and battling for your job. Like, it never goes away. And yeah, that you say, well, there's a level of comfortability. Okay, so I'll just give you my experience. Like, Dan Marino was clearly the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, and he felt extremely comfortable in that position. In fact, he joked often where he just said, "Hey, I was here when you got here, and I'll be here when you leave," kind of thing. And when I was drafted, I was consumed with taking over his job. Like that, and he was like probably the most comfortable person in America with his job position. But then after 3 years, all of a sudden I got to play. And then there's the question: do we keep Marino? Do we trade him? We've got this young player. So as the point is that the job is extremely competitive, and I don't care who you are, you're constantly fighting to keep your job. And so in doing that, you cannot show any sign of weakness. And you still have to live your life. You still have to be out there going, "Oh God, I can't have personal problems." The biggest joke my family used to say was, "Don't mess with Scott on game day." Like my parents, they're just like, they're trying to, we don't want anything to get in the way. We don't want anything to disrupt, anything that's going on in your life. And when, I coached high school football, and I used to tell my players, like, don't date girls. They're black widows. They're going to suck the life out of you when you're playing football, because you're not emotionally prepared to handle the girls are just at a younger age, more mature. And if they break up with you, you're going to be horrible. You're going to be a nightmare. You're going to be a train wreck. It's not going to be good. And so, don't let anything mess up game day. And I'm just telling you, it was almost impossible when I had a situation, and I see this with Luka Doncic, and my heart just kind of goes out to him, knowing how challenging that is. Like, I wasn't out promoting or saying, "Hey, woe is me." I didn't say a word about it. I just suffered in silence with it, tried to get through it the best that I could, and it wasn't good, and it impacted how I'm sure it did. How I performed. I'm sure it impacted all of it, and I just didn't feel like I was in a place where I could talk to anyone, where I could deal with this, and so I just suffered in silence. But the thing I think that, going back to my question, like, what's it like being a professional athlete? It's just like being a normal human being. We just go out and perform our job in front of millions of people, and you don't have a lot of, but other than that, it's just normal. But you still are a normal person. You still have your personality. You still dealing with things in life, and so it's often a very challenging thing to have happen. And that Lucas story just brought that out. And I thought it was kind of an interesting insight. All right, moving on. Italy, thank you, Italy, which is funny. Sorry, Martin, did you have anything you wanted to add to that, or?
No. Well, I don't open up a whole lot. So the only time I will do that is I know how it feels to be your children. I kind of also know how it feels to be somewhat of an athlete. I played football in high school and basketball. I'm also from a family of divorced parents, and playing football in the middle of the summer and all that going on, it can distract you. Honestly, it can take you away from what you're trying to focus on. Especially now, I have school, I have football, I have basketball. I was, trying to find anything to distract myself with. And it's not easy to balance that mentality. And so it's tough. I hope Luka goes through this, calmly and professionally. And yeah, I hope his daughters understand one day that the fight that he put forward and what all of it meant at the end of the day. I mean, for what it sounds like between you and me, your children love you very much, and they love, seeing you and having you around. And, it's just tough sometimes. So,
yeah, I think the biggest thing is, I just suffered in silence.
Yeah.
And I think today people are more willing to talk through things, to talk about things, to say, hey, this is something that I kind of need some support, some help with. And I wished I would have done that, but I'm just telling you, I lived in a world where you just could not, you felt like you could not show any sign of weakness, including injuries. There are all kinds of things you deal with, and you just like, I just can't let anyone know this, because then I'm gonna be out, and I don't want to. And if I'm out, someone is gonna take my job. So it's a tough thing.
Right.
Okay, Italy, of course, we all are cheering for Italy. And Italy came through big for the U.S. in the World Baseball Classic. Here's what the folks from Italy, Vinny Pasquantino, had this to say to the Americans.
Unbelievable, huh? You're welcome, USA. We were thinking of you guys over at your hotel. We were thinking of you guys, so I'm glad you guys could join us in the party.
So kind of this is the weird part about like the whole World Baseball Classic, because these guys are Major League Baseball players. They're probably cheering for the U.S. as much as they are anything. And of course, some of these guys have to play on all these teams to fill out a team, because I'm not sure if you went really to Italy that you'd find 9 people that actually play baseball, let alone play it at the highest level. So there's a little bit of, kind of fudging the I guess birth certificates or eligibility. It's pretty liberal in some of this, but it felt a little bit kind of a little trash talking, but also a little bit of a, hey, we're really glad we could help you out in getting and moving on to the quarterfinal. Any thoughts, Martin? You're muted, Martin. Hey, Martin, you're muted.
I thought you crashed out there for a second. I'm like, did you pause? Did my internet crash? Happy for the USA. Italy had a little troll moment there. They went undefeated in their pool play, which was kind of funny. I liked it. It's to join us in the quarterfinals, and they're not wrong. America was a little shaky there towards the end. We'll see what happens through all the quarterfinals. I still think it'll be USA versus Japan for the final. But yeah, this is a little funny, dig that the Italy has at US, and I like it. It's a little competitive and it's funny at the same time.
Yeah. I think it's all part of what just makes this so compelling. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm so. I think I feel I'm more excited about the World Baseball Classic than maybe the start of Major League Baseball season. It's just a fun thing. There's just a lot of good energy, and a lot of kind of this, poke the bear, trolling, as you say, who's your daddy kind of moment going on. So we like it. All right. We're going to take a break. We come back. We've got a fun game to close out today. You don't want to miss it. Martin's he's put together another fantastic game for the folks to play at home. And remember, you get a gold star on your forehead if you win. So you're going to want that. All right. Stick around. The Down and Dirty. We'll be back very shortly.
Hi, my name is Mike Lacey. I'm with Beyond the Game, a new podcast to the Rogue Media Network. Just when you thought you'd had a little bit too much about BYU, here we are to provide you even a little bit more. I, as part of the BYU group, am grateful that we're part of the Big 12 and really grateful that we're part of the Rogue Media Network. Thank you.
Circulon C1 Series Clad with Scratch Defense Non-Stick. The luxury and confidence of premium clad stainless steel meets Scratch Defense Extreme Non-Stick that won't scratch, ever. With an ultra-thick aluminum core for high-performance heating. Maximize cooking, minimize cleaning. Discover the unmatched durability and elegance of clad stainless steel. Scratch-free, worry-free, forever.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Are you looking for top shelf sports talk about the West Virginia Mountaineers, where you can get objective analysis, but with the passion of a fan? Well, look no further than right here at Couz's Corner. I am Justin Couz Walker, the host of Couz's Corner, and you can find my show on demand over at YouTube. Most shows are uploaded by 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also check out my live post-game reaction shows. My special guest interviews, you can find it all on YouTube at Couz's Corner. Go check it out.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome back. It's the Down and Dirty Scott Mitchell. So glad you could join us and be a part of our day. Of course, we like to play games on the show because that's what sports are. They're games. It's entertainment. It's fun. So we try to come up with some creative and fun games. Hope you enjoy them. And please play at home. Like I said, Gold Star. All right, Martin, what do you have for us as far as our game for the day? I like this game. This is a good game. So tell the folks at home what this game is all about, and let's get going.
Yeah, so we have Would You Rather, and Would You Rather is just me asking Scott some scenario questions here, which he would either pick A or B in the scenario and why. And everyone can play at home. Everyone can go home with a gold star on their head. There's no wrong answer. However you feel, your opinion is your opinion. And let's start with this one, Scott. Would you rather see Geno Smith or Justin Fields start for the New York Jets next season?
Well, this one, most of your questions are very thought-provoking. This one's not. Okay, this was an easy one for me. It's absolutely Geno Smith, and I actually think Geno Smith. In fact, Pete Carroll said this, that he thought Geno Smith would really rebound from his experience in Las Vegas. They didn't have anything. They had a lot of turmoil there. The coach, the offensive coordinator gets fired, Chip Kelly, in the middle of the season, and there was just a lot of it was just a bad vibe going on with the Raiders across the board. And Geno Smith is a guy that I think can play and play well, and he's got people. So there's a couple of things. New York is not going to intimidate Geno Smith. He's been there, done that. So he's going to be very comfortable in that environment and probably a little bit juiced and motivated to come back, to say, hey, you were wrong about me, and I'm going to show you. And he's got weapons, and the cupboard is not bare with the Jets in New York. And I think people will see that to a lot when they'll see this offense play better with Geno Smith. So 100%, I'm picking Geno to be the guy in New York.
All right, not a bad answer. All right, Scott, would you rather see Max Crosby sticking it out with the Raiders, fix his relationship with them, work on trying to be a winner, or for him to continue to fight to get out of Vegas?
Would I rather in one of these situations? I think I'm going to say I would rather see him get out of Las Vegas. And I just think it's one of those, they've already made it's the saying is it's better to give birth than to resurrect the dead kind of thing. And I think that situation in Las Vegas they've moved on. They clearly broke up. They clearly were going in a different direction. And I think both parties want to go in a different direction. They just, unfortunately, something happened. I don't think anybody foresaw, or maybe they did. And maybe they were hoping to pull one over on the Ravens, knowing that maybe Maxx is damaged goods. And it's more than maybe what they're making it out to be, but who knows? But I just think for everyone involved, the Raiders and Max Crosby, start over fresh. Like I said, give birth, just start anew and move on. And I think you're going to be in a better place.
All right, Scott, I have a little fun one here. We're going to do a little early
Okay.
season NFL predictions. Who would you
Oh.
rather see go from worst to first? These are all the teams that finished last in their divisions.
Oh, wow.
Cardinals, Saints, Giants, Browns, Lions, Jets, Raiders, Titans. Who do you want to see go from worst to first next season?
Okay, well, the sentimental side to me is always with the Lions because they just never have gone to a Super Bowl, and I just would love to see them there. There's a part of me because of Jackson Dart that the Giants kind of turn it around. I don't have any affection for the Browns whatsoever. The Saints, the Jets have been so bad for so long. There's just got to come a time for them to turn it around. I don't think the Cardinals are doing it. It's kind of funny because I have this image of these teams. So you think of the Cardinals, and I just think of them as always being the loser. So it's hard to wrap your mind around them as winning, and it just seems unnatural. Same thing with the Browns. Same thing with the Jets. You don't see them, and you could argue to some degree with the Saints, although it picked up with Sean Payton and Drew Brees, so there was something there. There's a part of me that just kind of wants Cam Ward to be good and the Tennessee Titans to turn it around. But I'm actually going to say the Lions. That's who I'd rather see go for worst to first.
All right, that's not a bad pick. All right, Scott, let's put you in a scenario here. Would you, as a player, want to break Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point mark in an NBA game or break Peyton Manning's 7 NFL touchdowns thrown in a game? Which record would you want to break?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did play football and I did throw touchdown passes and multiple ones in games. I think the most I threw in a game was 4, but so that would be cool. 8 touchdowns in a game. That's a lot of points. But I think it's remarkable. Wilt Chambers, scored 100 points, and you think of all the great players who have played since then, and there have been some that have had 50, 60, 70, 80 points, but just not getting close to that 100. I think I'd rather do the 100 points.
Okay, not a bad choice. Not a bad choice. All right, Scott, let's put you in the MLB here. If you were an MLB batter, you're in the box, okay, would you rather face Nolan Ryan or Shohei Ohtani? Which punishment would you rather want to endure?
See, I would just want the experience, and I'm going to strike out against both of them, right?
Okay.
But at this point, and I love Shohei, I love the whole two position thing. There's just something about Shohei that I just really enjoy. I would say but I want to know what that experience is like to face Nolan Ryan. So put me in there, and I just want him to brush me back a little bit too. I mean, if you're going to get the Nolan Ryan experience, then could we just get the whole Nolan Ryan experience? And so for me, I'm going to go Nolan Ryan.
All right, Scott, you were a pitcher during the high school days. So if you were a pitcher, who would you rather not want to face in the batter's box, Babe Ruth or Barry Bonds?
Oh, see, for me, it's kind of the same thing. I'm going to say Babe Ruth just because I'd want to be on the mound pitching to Babe Ruth, just because it's Babe Ruth. And but it's not that I would want that. But Barry Bonds was a problem for people. Like he was good. But I'll say Babe Ruth because you just can't disrespect the Babe.
All right, final question here for you. If you were a boxer and you had to pick a match, who would you rather want to not face in a match? Muhammad Ali or Sugar Ray Leonard?
See, these are great questions, and you're asking me who I'd rather not face, and I want to face the one I wouldn't want to face. You know what I mean? Yeah. Only because I just want to be in the ring with him. I'm going to say Muhammad Ali, I would rather not face him, but I'd also rather be in the ring with him, not to face him, because I'd want to be in the ring with him. Like that would be like it'd be the honor of a lifetime. It like to be like you talk of these 3 different individuals. It's like it'd be an honor of a lifetime to strike out against Nolan Ryan. Like you'd go, Nolan Ryan struck me out, or Babe Ruth hit a home run off me, or Muhammad Ali knocked me out. Yeah, So I wouldn't want to be there, but I would because they're so iconic.
Yeah,
All right, this
I
show has
do.
been iconic. Thank you very much for that, Martin. Everyone gets a gold star, and we go home happy. Thanks for tuning in today to the show. Really appreciate it. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you, Martin, Zach, for all your help. This has been the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell. Until then, we'll see you then.